Hey everybody. One of my goals, sort of long-term goals, has been to learn more about mixed media and incorporate that more into my scrapbooking. And there's a lady here on YouTube, Cat Hand, who has a Facebook group, and she's a mixed media artist. And one of the things that she decided to do this year is sort of a series that's a tutorial about mixed media backgrounds. And it's not like, so far what she has done isn't things that I am not familiar with, but it's a really good sort of avenue for me to channel those efforts, because she puts out a video, and then if I use what she puts out, then it gets me moving in that direction. So she's putting out a video where she has a little tiny composition book, and she wants basically she gives you a tutorial every week on a mixed media background technique, and then you're supposed to do it in the little composition book, and then you can post it in her Facebook group. I didn't have a little composition book, but I did have this that I got at the Goodwill a while back, and it was actually sitting in my living room after having moved, and I was like, what am I going to do with this thing? You know, I don't often sit and write in journals. So this is a journal that it has lines. So I decided to turn this into my little practice book. And what I resolved that I would do is each week when she gives a tutorial, I would create a page in my book like she suggested, and then I would create a sheet, an 8.5 by 11 sheet of the same technique to use in my scrapbooking. So this book becomes kind of a reminder of the various different background techniques, and then I will take the background sheet and use it in my scrapbooking. So I will go ahead and show you the products of that scrapbooking as well. But this is the first page, and all I did was I glued the first two sheets together, and then I gessoed it. And her first technique was the plastic wrap technique. And if you want the tutorial for that, I'll put it down below. And then I created this huge piece of plastic wrap technique. It's an 8.5 by 11 sheet that I did the plastic wrap technique on. In this one I used brown and gold, and then in this one I used black and pearl. And my idea was that I could use this with some of my new Valentine papers and create kind of a Valentine layout. Maybe even a Valentine wall hanging with a picture that I have from our engagement pictures, which was a long time ago. But anyway, I've been wanting to create kind of a Valentine wall hanging, so I think I'm going to incorporate that in this, and then I will show you the product of that wall hanging, that scrapbook project, using this and some regular scrapbooking techniques. So I'll come back with that. Alright, so I know that I said I was going to do a process video for this, but it just was too much. And it took too long. I mean, I've got several projects going on at the same time, and I just had to do them all little bits at a time because things had to dry and stuff. So this is the layout that I did using the plastic wrap technique. So I basically took that paper that I made and I cut it up, and there's what I have left, and I used it kind of like a pattern paper in my layout. So not a background per se, but more like a pattern paper. Alright, so what you're seeing here is it's actually a 2-page spread, and it's a wall hanging, and I put it on chipboard, and this is, I think it's 10.5 inches by 10 inches, or 10 inches by 10.5. It was, the chipboard was, I got it at Michael's as part of it was for a mini book, although it wasn't obviously very mini. But you know, the price for the chipboard, it was like $5 or $4 for, anyway, for all this chipboard. So I've got, it's basically just chipboard on the back, and I put satin ribbon to hang it, and this is a wall hanging that I've made for my living room for Valentine's Day. And then this saying, every love story is beautiful, but ours is my favorite, came out off of the Silhouette store, as did this shape and this shape. And so you can kind of see that I cut these two shapes and then I backed them with the that plastic wrap technique paper. And then I also used it as a layer here under this photo, and I used it as a layer here under this photo. Okay, so then other than that, this paper is both from the Hello Love line, that is crepe paper this year, and I think you can get it at Michael's, but I think I got mine online. And I took 2 sheets of paper from that line. I took this chevrony wood grain and I split it in half, and then I took this floral. I love both of these papers. These are 2 of the papers that I selected this particular why I chose this collection, because I just loved these papers. So I used them. Let me see if I can show you more of a, I used them, there you go, you can see it sideways, but you can see it. I used them here, and then the floral in the middle. These are some fibers from my just from my stash. And then these buttons, these are really neat kind of buttons. I got them from Walmart, but it's been a while, maybe last Christmas. And I just tied some twine in there and adhered them here. And then the photos, I printed up almost every photo I have of my husband and I. We don't have very many photos together. But this is one of our engagement photos. This is a photo from 2003 when my sister got married. And these 2 photos were taken last summer when we took our kids to the penitentiary. And I told my daughter, we sat down in front of a window at the old pen, and you can actually see in this window the reflection of the wall of the old pen on the other side. This is a reflection in a window, which is really kind of keen. Anyway, I just said, Rhiannon, take a couple pictures of Dad and I, because we don't have any pictures with each other. So those are actually really awesome to have. And I printed them in the black and white so that they would all be consistent, because the colors here were all over the map. And it also kind of, I think, goes really nicely with this paper. So I used that technique paper again here as mats, and then there's just some cardstock from my stash, and then this stripe was also from the Hello Love collection. I used a bunch of stickers from this sticker sheet that came out of the Yours Truly line, which was last year's Echo Park line that I picked up at Tuesday morning last week for $5. So man, I used a bunch of those stickers on this, which I love the stickers. I am not sure that I'm completely done embellishing, but I'm done today because I need to hang it and be done, and I have people coming over and I'm busy today. So so I'm done today. If I make any more adjustments, it'll probably just be little, little tags or whatever around the photos. And that might happen, but I don't know. This was also a silhouette cut, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. And of course, I just backed it with that paper. So you have this, and then you have the paper here. So that's how I use this mixed media paper, background paper technique from Cat Hand this week. So I hope you like my 2-page spread wall hanging, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.